Alright, gun review time. If I was smart, I would wait about 2 more weeks before I did any reviews on camera. I'm still getting over RSV. I won't give you all the details. I've been really sick this month. Really sick. Feeling much better, but I still have the hoarseness and the cough. You're probably going to have some abrupt edits in this GRV, this tabletop review on the new production Colt Python. Bear with me. Bear with me. Show goes on. Spurned on by my elite donors. My donors are awesome. They spurned me on. They wanted me to review this. I reviewed the King Cobra, posted in October 2020. The new production, Colt King Cobra. Go check out that GRV. I'm not going to rehash it here. I'll save you that. But we have a lot of things to say about the new production, Colt Python. I'm very excited for the gun. Excited Colt reintroduced it. I've been clamoring for this gun for years in social media, on my Twitter account, and now here it is. Introduced, I believe, in 2020. Here's a prediction I'm going to make, dudes, and this may shock you. And I'm kind of known for that, saying bold predictions, which usually come true. They do. Older production Colt Pythons are going to plateau in value pretty soon, and then they're going to start to diminish in value. That's my bold prediction. There, I said it right at the outset of this pistol review. That's what I see happening with a new production Colt Python. Once guys find out how good this gun is and how it is actually much better than the older production Colt Python, yes, I am saying that at the outset, they won't want the old production anymore. I suspect demand for those older production, original 1960, maybe 50s, 60s, 70s, 80 production Pythons is going to plateau and then start to wane. So if you have one of those guns and you have contemplated selling it, now may be a good time before the word of this gun via TMP gets out. There, you have my fair warning. I do kind of know gun trends, industry trends, and that's what I see coming down the pike. The demand pent up for the Colt Python has been due to they can't get a modern production one. And because this one, as I'm saying right now, has turned out so well, a lot of guys aren't going to want to fork out $2,500 for an older production Colt Python that probably will go out of timing with a lot of shooting. That is not as strong as this pistol. Just a couple of the messages I'll integrate here at tabletop. So there you have it. Am I wrong? I could be, but I'm just going to go out on a limb right now and say I think that's going to happen. So if you have a Colt Python, older production, and you absolutely love it, which I don't blame you at all. They're still very, very cool. I still love them. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying. Hang on to it. But if you're on the fence, now's a good time to sell. Now's a good time to sell. So we'll go right into philosophy of use. And I did cover a little bit of this in the KC review, October 2020. It is filling a need that has been out there for a very long time. Guys just wanted the Python. I've talked about this in other revolver reviews. And a competitive option I'm going to show you here on tabletop. We'll talk about that one here in a little bit. And it is finally here. And it is taking a very long time. So kudos to, I think, VP of Colt, at least at the time that this gun was created. He was, I think, spearheading the entire Colt Python project. Paul Spatali is his name. So kudos to you, bro, for bringing it to market. I still think it's an expensive gun for them to produce. It is not made according to the original Colt Python, of which I don't have on tabletop because I don't have one, nor have access to one. I have shown them in the project over the years, a couple times. That gun, the older one, was hand-fitted. It was built by very skilled craftsmen. It was polished on walrus hide wheels. The bluing was magnificent. The lock work was a piece of art. Not ultimately durable, apparently, with a lot of shooting, especially powerful loads. Nevertheless, the Colt Python rapidly gained an audience. Fans. It's a Colt gun. A Colt gun. And now that their prices have been driven up, at least until this review, a lot of guys want one. Either they can't afford one, or if they can, they can't find one. I'm not sure what the availability on this newer production one is. They make it in a 4 1/4 inch barreled version instead of the 4-inch version. I guess that's for the Canadian market, so it's legal in Canada, whatever. Or this Nothing Fancy preferred version, the 6-inch barreled version. I prefer this one. And it's out, but will it be available at your gun store? I just don't know. I'm filming this in 2021 when all durable goods, like most of them, are hard to get. This really unreliable supply issues for everything. Ammunition, raw materials to make guns, knives, watches, it's hard to say. So will this become really, really hard to get? A holy grail pistol, even the modern production? I don't know. But I do know this: if you are in the market for a Python, do your best to get a hold of this one. And if you can't shoot it, hold it and maybe dry fire it with some permission. Not going to hurt it. Not this new production one. And fall in love. There's my message. First philosophy of use is satiating the huge demand for the Colt Python. Spurred on by movies, by the way. Featured in a lot of movies. I've talked about this before. It's a great looking gun. It was a great looking gun when it came out in 1955. Has that cylindrical, full underbarrel lug. Ventilated rib on it. It's just badass. It's always been that way. And this new production version recaptures those looks almost perfectly, if you ask me. This one in stainless steel. Now, will they come out with a blued version? And maybe they have and I'm missing it. I don't know. Hard to say. Doing bluing the way they used to do it on the original Colt Python might be difficult. Again, it was polished on walrus hide wheels. Hand rubbed, hand applied bluing. I mean, can we even do that nowadays? I don't see it on very many guns at all. Occasionally I will. CZ comes to mind. Some of their rifles will have beautiful bluing on it, but a pistol with that level of bluing, I have a Browning high power on loan. It has that level of bluing, but it's an old gun. New production, not so much. Combat piece, I would say yes, definitely you could, but I don't think a lot of guys are going to be doing it. I think they're just going to buy and collect and on occasion shoot their Python. Competitive pistol? No, I wouldn't say that. Home defense? No, doesn't have a way to attach a light. I'm big on attaching a light to a home defense weapon. Car gun? No, too expensive. Would never leave this in the car. Risking the unlikely event it would be stolen. No, thank you. Backpacking gun? Absolutely not. It's 2 pounds 14 ounces, 46 ounces. It is a boat anchor. And a philosophy of use. Where's my shout cone? Well, Nothing Fancy, you're basically saying that all it's good for is collecting. Is that correct? Kind of. I'm not really saying that to the nth degree. What I'm saying is, realistically, that's what it's going to be used for. All those other applications totally could do it. They're not perfect. I mean, I would never go, hiking this gun around, being as heavy as it is, only 6 rounds. No way. But you could. What I'm saying is, I'm just telling you how guys are going to use this gun. They're going to buy it, collect it, shoot it on occasion. Into philosophy of use, into features we go. I talked about the barrel length of the new production Colt Python. I do prefer the 6-inch barrel. Here's why. It's already a heavy gun. I get a longer sight radius. I get less blast with a 357 load, of which I shot a fair amount through in this gun. And it just looks cooler to me, and it balances well. You might level a criticism here that, well, with that 6-inch barrel, it's really barrel heavy. I mean, the balance is kind of thrown off. Having shot it, I didn't notice that at all. I have no complaints with the balance of this gun whatsoever. I like it barrel heavy. I think it makes it more controllable. I've always said a heavier handgun is easier to shoot. And since we've established this is more of an enjoyment piece, why not? Why not have more velocity, longer sight radius, less blast? Yeah, why not? Now, there is a school of thought that says, well, a 4-inch, in the case of the Python, excuse me, there's one of them coughs. In the case of the Python, a 4 1/4 inch barrel is better looking, just in terms of second cool. I'm down with that. I have no pushback on that at all. You're right. They are cool looking. And again, that kind of maybe harkens back to television shows and movies. The 4-inch version of both Smith & Wesson and Colt 357s was shown a lot, and it's ingrained in our, you know, our mind. So, yeah, I do like the 6-inch barrel on this. Stainless steel, we've established that. Let's look at the finishing on it. I would classify the polishing job, maybe not on a walrus hide wheel, hard to say. Whatever they did, it's fantastic. I see no flaws in the finishing of the stainless steel, and it is superior to Smith & Wesson products that I have reviewed to this point. I'm talking standard factory products, not a custom pistol. Now notice that that appears to be a stainless steel barrel insert. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I think this is machined and then that is pressed or somehow put inside this portion of the barrel right here. So that's just my take on it. I didn't really read that, so I'm not positive, but having reviewed a lot of guns and looking at this, it kind of appears that way. Do I care? Not really. I mean, I would like a barrel to be machined in one unit just for second cool. I just think it's cooler and more aesthetic, but I guess the benefit is somewhat of a recessed target crown there. We have a front sight with a fluorescent insert in it, which I absolutely love. It's not stainless steel, so it does have some contrast. We have a fully adjustable rear sight, very similar to Smith & Wesson, adjustable for elevation and windage, and there is a small Torx locking screw here to lock the windage elevation or the windage adjustment here. I did tweak the sights a bit and got this thing shooting point of 0. We will look at the accuracy here. One minor ding on this. I wish it had some type of faceting or serrations or some other anti-glare treatment right here on the top strap. That would be cool. In shooting it in bright sun, I will say I didn't really notice any reflections or it wasn't bothersome to me. It would just be cool. If you find it, it would be easy enough to put black athletic tape on there, and I'm saying athletic tape because it really soaks up reflections. Easy to take off, and it would just be a perfect solution. Not like looking cool, but practical solution. I've always loved the ventilated barrel feature. I should say the ventilated rib, not barrel feature, of the Python. I just think it looks rad. I think most guys would agree. It just looks fantastic. They've retained it here. Looks very similar to the original. It is really good. I don't have the original here. Otherwise, this review would be like an hour and 20 minutes. By the way, it's going to go long enough. It'll be a feature length, I suspect. GRV, I want to push it along, but it's good that I don't have the original because we'd be going back and forth all night long. Now, this is kind of odd. So this code right here, if you scan it, it brings up the menu for Denny's. Yeah, the Denny's breakfast menu comes up. That's weird. I'm kidding, of course. I don't know what the hell it does. Probably instruction manual or something like that. Or just a registration code. Doesn't matter. Totally doesn't matter. There's like 50 comments right there. I hate Denny's. I like McDonald's better. The trigger is a disappointment to some, I think. I don't mind it at all. I think some people would think it's a little bit narrow. They wanted kind of a combat wider trigger on that. I don't mind it. And honestly, in shooting it, I didn't really notice it wasn't a wide trigger because the trigger is so phenomenal. I think the trigger guard is adequately large. Again, I have no comparisons with the original right here. The fitment of the pistol overall, and like the side plate, you can see the lines are super tight. The fit and finish of the Colt Python, the new one, is just fantastic. Now, I don't know where in the batch of production this one falls. I am hiding the serial number for a good reason. By the way, thanks to Gunnies, the great American gun store, for loaning me this gorgeous new production Colt Python for review. Thanks to Gunnies, Wyatt and company. You rock, Wyatt. Thanks so much. Back to the trigger. I love the trigger. Oh my gosh, did I love the trigger. And guys that shot it loved it too. It seems like a gunsmithed trigger to me. I would absolutely do nothing to the new production Colt Python trigger. It pulls heavier than it seems. Single action is, I measured 6 pounds, and then double action is a very smooth 10 pounds. So, and I shot it, as you'll see in the video, a lot from double action. And I recommend you do as well. It's so smooth and easy to stay on target, double action. Very easy. And you'll notice, by the way, as that trigger comes forward, there's going to be kind of like a false reset right here. Right here. You got to let it go all the way forward. It's part of the lock work. So don't be thrown off by that. Trigger is just fantastic. Now, we shot that King Cobra. I did have some criticisms on that gun. Again, go watch the review. I'm not rehashing it here. I thought that trigger, if I'm going off memory, was pretty good. I think this one's better. Yeah, it is just a fantastic trigger. Conducive to accuracy shooting, speed shooting, you name it. I ran a lot of revolver triggers. I'm absolutely in love with the Colt Python trigger. On to the stocks. Now, the originals, I believe, were in walnut, right? These are laminated wood, and I absolutely love them. And I will say they do their job quite well, perhaps unlike the King Cobra. The King Cobra grips allowed a lot of wandering with all the shooters. We just couldn't get a positive grip, and it was twisting in hand. We had some issues with it. These I love. They are checkered. They have the Colt medallion in them. Hold on, I got to mess with my mic a little bit here. And they're just really nice grips. I wouldn't change these out. Word on the street is that this will take original Colt Python grips, but then I heard someone else saying, well, they will take, the gun will take them, but they're going to be kind of loose. I didn't try that. You could experiment, but why would you want to peel these off? These are fantastic. Now, it looks to me like, since it's laminated, they went with pressed checkering. It's not that really sharp checkering, so there's a minor ding there. But I think that might be an outgrowth of it being laminated wood. I don't know how well laminated would cut. Exposed backstrap on this model, of course, just like the original Python. That takes us to the hammer. The original Python hammer was checkered. This one is serrated. It's totally comfortable. And unlike the Ruger and Smith & Wesson products, it needs no work whatsoever. There's no sharp edges. None at all. I mean, the hammer is just perfect. Totally perfect. Transfer bar mechanism, just like other modern revolvers. Cylinder latch is right here, a la Colt. You pull it to the rear. Some shooters have a problem with this because, it's not a push forward. They may have to change or switch out their grip to do it. I've always liked the Colt cylinder latch mechanism. I think it's fine. Now, what they did in this newer production, talking about strength, Python, is they increased the steel in the top strap, they say, by 30%. So it's a stronger frame that's on this modern production Python. And then they integrated a Smith & Wesson type cylinder bolt stop design. They basically just lifted off Smith & Wesson. So all that taken together should mean that your timing issues, i.e. when the cylinder comes out of time or alignment with the bore, should be a thing of the past. You should be able to shoot this modern production Python a lot with full power loads and have no problems. And if you do, you send it back to Colt and they'll fix it. Yeah, I'll say right now, in our shooting with 357 loads, we had no problems. Now, with COVID and everything, the availability of ammunition, I was not able to push like 500 rounds through this thing as I normally would have, but I shot enough to get a good feel for what it's about. Notice again the clearances here. Look at this. Very little movement in the crane cylinder. Notice also the forcing cone. We see actually no daylight at all. This portion right here. So we're looking right here. Let me bring a flashlight behind as I do in my revolver reviews. And this is a really good indication of the fitting of a revolver. Very tight. You see it right there. O-light, as always, S20. We have about, according to my measurement on the ejector, 0.8 inches of extraction of the shell casing. So I'm talking about this distance right here. We have a bulbed out ejector rod here. Notice that it's milled out in the lug the same way. Very precise. I did find that during the ejection, pretty much like all revolvers that I test here, that there was a hang up or two coming out, usually around the grip area. You'll see that in video. It happens all the time. Now, you could say that's because you're not really smacking it smartly and having them eject. And that's a true statement, because I was trying to catch them in my hand. In combat shooting, I wouldn't care about that. I would just turn the gun vertical. I'd hold it something like that, and I'd just plow it like that and pop them out. I think if you do that, you'll get a nice positive ejection of the spent shell casings. Here's a look inside of the Python. Very strong design. I just love this gun, dude. It's so cool. Notice there's no marring of the cylinders. There's kind of a milling groove right here around the circumference of the cylinder. Pretty much every other revolver I have, you're going to see a drag line around the circumference. And again, two competitive options coming your way. Let's look at the fit on this. Very tight. Very tight. Colt logo on this side. Just a great looking gun. Now, there were some reports that early production, I should say early 2020 production of the Colt Python, had lockups of the cylinder. They had some reliability problems, and it was due to the side plate coming loose. As I understand it, I did not experience that myself, but they've Loctited the screws since then. They've revisited it. We didn't see that at all. So I think that is an early problem. Now it's gone. And I didn't say this, by the way. Colt Python collectors might refer to this style of grip as a Type 2 grip. And probably a lot of other details, and I'm not going into in depth enough for those guys. Again, we'll be here all night, and I'll probably get some details wrong. And I don't really care. I'm hitting the important stuff as I care. There's a prancing horse. Outstanding. And I forgot to mention this. There's no sharp edges here. It looks like it might have some sharp edges on the cylinder latch. No, it's fine. Really, the whole gun, the way it is, seems to me like it's a little bit melted. See this right here, how it's not sharp? That's like melted. There's no sharp edges here. Around the trigger guard, no sharp edges. The polishing, the fitment lines of the side plate. Look at that, dudes. It's just tight. So I guess we have our answer, don't we, boys and girls? We have our answer about, can Colt reproduce the magic of the Colt Python? I'm here to tell you, nothing fancy, the answer is yes. They've done it in modern terms, in realistic modern terms.
Awesome.
Now what has resulted is a still very expensive gun. We're looking at, I think, like floor price of $1,500. This thing ain't cheap. But here's what I told Colt in social media with my postings. And back me up on this. Help me out here. I told Colt years ago, I said, build the Colt Python. Specifically the Python is what I wanted. This gun right here. Do the best you can with costs. If we're happy with the product, we'll pay the price. I'm making another prediction right here. The market will eat this gun up, even at $1,500. So if you're typing furiously right now and saying, $1,500, holy hell, I'd much rather go get a Ruger GP100. Everybody understands that. We're not faulting you for that. There's still 100 guys behind you that will buy this gun. I think this will be a runaway bestseller for Colt, even at that high price level. I don't blame them for that high price at all. It took a lot of money to bring this to market. to build it to this quality level. It's not hand fitted. There's a lot of CNC here. There's probably some MIM'd parts in here, but overall I'm very impressed with the piece. How did it shoot? How about this? Double thumbs up. No jams, no stuck cylinder, nothing. The trigger was a dream. And here's our accuracy on the Colt Python. It was outstanding. Outstanding. It well beat the King Cobra that I tested last year. Look at this, dudes. This is standing. Holy hell. Look at this, dudes. And where is this? 10 yards standing. So that's hard to do. I'm telling you. 10 yards. Most of them are going into like a 1 by 1 inch square. I wrote all around excellent. Look at this. Holy crap. Different loads. And I had 3 different papers. For time, I'm just showing you this one. I gave this one an up arrow. I probably shouldn't. And I'm being very picky. So 10 yards is not super easy. I didn't bench it at 25 because I don't think I'm good at doing that. I told you guys that before. I'm not. I will say the accuracy of the new production Colt Python is outstanding from demonstrated holes punched in the Nut and Fancy project. Reliability, outstanding. Enjoyability, off the charts. This is an outstanding revolver, and I bet you from this review, guys are just going to rush out and try to find it, and I don't blame you a bit. This is a no holds barred, something I rarely do, gushing review of this gun. It is, I don't see really any meaningful negative thing I can say about it. I've said a couple minor things. Would I buy it? Hells to the yeah. Hell yeah, I'd buy this thing. $1,500? It's a lot of money, I know that. But the crazy thing happens to us guys. When we get to this, I don't know what it is. It's this addictive second cool thing. It's just like we start going, yeah. It might be a motorcycle, might be a car, might be a watch, which by the way is a beautiful deep blue Alpha Marine 500. Link below in orange. Like this. This is a fantastic watch, by the way. It might be something like a watch and we just go, you know what? I gotta have it. Guys are like that. We are like that. And this falls into that category. It is crack for a revolver guy. Crack. I don't really care what other reviewers are saying. I don't watch their reviews. I don't read their reviews. I don't give a shit. I just say what I say. And I'm not a Colt collector. I'm kind of an outside voice in this. But I'm telling you, this is a home run by Colt. They have delivered everything I think a realistic Colt aficionado would want in 2 different versions, and they might come out with different versions, like I said. Accuracy, outstanding. I did see in my NRA magazine that they had tested this, and they tested a 1968, a 1979 Colt Python against this, and this was slightly more accurate. So think about that. So here we have a modern production Colt Python that is beating the very excellent accuracy of original production Pythons. That to me is pretty freaking cool. Very, very cool. It's a fantastic gun. Competitive options. Before we end this, again, brought to you by elite donors to the Nut and Fancy Project. You should be one. Go ahead and hit that link. At the very minimum, subscribe to me here on YouTube. Hit the notification bell. Watch all the videos. Most guys are giving like $5 a month in Patreon, and it keeps me cranking. Competitive options. How about my beloved 686P Smith & Wesson? And don't think anything I said of the Colt Python diminishes my love for this gun. I love this gun. And this is my personal gun. And this is a 7-round 686P. Fantastic. It's kind of a user gun, right? Go watch my ancient review on that. Here we see some of the, the anti-reflection treatment I was talking about that is lacking on the Python. They did it here. You see a different treatment on the hammer here. Notice the bluing the polish job here on this Smith & Wesson, right? So it's not bad. It's kind of a user polish job, and I believe I said that in my original review. I said, hey, it's good. It's not fantastic. Look at it against the Python. The Python shreds it. I mean, it's glistening. It's like reflective. Mirror polish, I wouldn't say quite mirror. It's getting close. But for second cool, this gun dominates the Smith & Wesson product, at least in this flavor. This is going to be a lot less expensive. This is a performance center one, so it has a fantastic trigger on it. Has one more round. As far as a combat pistol goes, if you were to go with a 357 revolver, I would choose this over that one. One more round, a little lighter weight, but we're talking first cool stuff. Don't forget the 686 product. It is fabulous. Man, I love it. How about the previously mentioned, now Duracoated in burnt bronze, Nut and Fancy Project GP100 with a Yoda trigger job. So Terry at Impact Guns had done this trigger job, and it's really nice. And your GP100 needs a trigger job, says me. And then we've got some Goncalo, however in the hell you say that, grips added to it. Tactical Doodle put those on. Yeah. Really cool gun. I had a friend shoot this recently, and man, he just fell in love with this gun. He's like, whoa, that is outstanding. Also possessing of a full underlug, just like the Python. This is more of a, not in this version, as it's coated, you know, kind of be special, but in its normal, out-of-box condition, this is a working pistol. The GP100 will last your lifetime. It's fantastic. It's hand-me-down quality. It is so much pistol for the money, and I love it. And I said that in my review, dated in 1994, whatever year I posted that. That's all I'm going to show you just for time. But the Python is gorgeous. It is a shooter. A home run. Again, I am predicting boldly that the pricing and the values of used Colts are going to go down. Only because I know the laws of supply and demand. And as more and more guys get this and they start talking to their friends who also want maybe original Colt Python, you know, revolvers, I think they're going to go with this one. And I think the most popular barrel size will be the 4 1/4 inch. It won't be this 6 inch. I think most guys would like that 4 1/4 inch. On the table, by the way, we have a beautiful Sog Terminus Xr, link below. Fantastic, fantastic knife. All the redesigns have gained a little bit of weight, but a lot more coolness and functionality. This is a Flash AT in TMP blue. Fantastic knife. Watch my knife show. I'm not a gun channel. I'm a gear adventure channel, just like that red name tape says. Link for that below also. Look at this, dudes. Awesome. And then we have a Lynx helicopter on the table, and we are done. Great job, Colt. Round of applause. This is a glowing review. Highly recommended. See you next review.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yards. Dude, check that out.